Hello, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, she's definitely chilling out here with her mommy, all nice and comfy and cozy in her mommy's arm. Getting her belly rubbed and everything. She's definitely feeling a lot better. When I came home from work last night, she was running around romping and playing and so forth. And I was throwing her balls and she was running after them and so forth. So, yeah, she's definitely feeling a lot better. And mom is getting there. Yeah, mom is getting there. I had a little bit of a rough night last night with trying to work. Um, but I pushed through, and then I got a little bit hungry, and my sugars were running high too, and I had to stop off at pick up a Sonic order, and those usually take some time. And with the location that I was at, I had to pull into one of the stalls that didn't have a drive-through. So while I was sitting there, I went ahead and took some insulin. And even though I did eat to help cover, my sugar just kept climbing and climbing. So I know that I was definitely fighting something. And then I got a terrible craving a little bit later for some Sprite. I'm not really a big, excuse me, soda drinker. Haven't been. I used to be. My drink of choice was Dr. Pepper. And then I did a detox. It was a sugar detox, actually, about 6 years ago. And pretty much since then, I haven't wanted sodas. I did get a craving for Dr. Pepper at one point, and I was stopping off at In and Out, and of course that was my big thing. Okay, got to have my double double fries and Dr. Pepper, and I was like, all right, I'll try it, and I went ahead and got the meal and got some Dr. Pepper, and it was like drinking syrup, and I threw it out. It was just that terrible. So never again. Every once in a while, I get a craving for some Sprite. Usually when I'm not feeling all that great, and I've really taken a liking to the zero sugar Sprite since I was in the hospital for my diabetes, or since when I became a diabetic anyway. So but yeah, I got a really big time craving for it, and I had to do a 7-Eleven delivery, and I grabbed a bottle, and I pretty much downed it last night. It was like, but I was feeling a lot better. It was like, okay, this is definitely helping, but I don't know. But I'll admit I was getting so down that I was seriously considering maybe after work stopping off at drugstore, one of the 24-hour places, and picking up a COVID test. Still not 100%, still not feeling all that great or whatever, but I did see that we do have. Oh, there she goes. She's just like, okay, mom, I'm done. Hi, how are yous? So anyway, yeah, I'm still not feeling all that terribly great. I don't know if maybe, because I know allergies were flaring up this week, and I know that because her allergies were flaring up, combined with the asthma attack that I had the other night. Um, com- you know, Combined with working a lot, um, combined, just everything combined, basically. I don't know if maybe it's just all of that, or if maybe I might just have maybe a slight cold, or I'm not entirely, or, of course, like I said, we have the storm coming, and those always affect me. We're supposed to go through a pretty big wind shift, and dropping in temperatures. We're running in the 70s during the day, but upper 40s. Actually, I think I was in an area last night where it got down into the low 40s. So, yeah. But to tell you the truth, another thing that helped me also when I went out to work, I went ahead, instead of wearing my light, thin sweat coat that I have. It's not one of the, like a hood. Well, it is a hoodie, but it's on the lighter side. It's not one of the thicker ones. Um, but anyway, oh, excuse me. I just woke up about an hour ago. Um, I went ahead and forewent that. I guess that's what you would say. I don't know. And opted for my heavier winter coat. I've had it for about 5 years now. It's actually made out of alpaca wool. So I'm like, all right, I relented and went ahead and wore that, especially since I still, even last night, I'm driving around with my windows open. I know I shouldn't be doing that, but I don't know. After a while of being in the car, I'm just like, I need air. I just feel like I need air. So that's when I open up the windows. Even if I'm not running the heat, it's like I feel like I'm needing air. So I've been running around with the windows open. I know. With those cold temperatures. I wonder why I'm not feeling great. Hello. But I just feel like I need air right now. But anyway, yeah, and my very first order I did was a Walmart pickup. And I didn't mind it because even though it's just one order, it was a nice dollar amount. So I'm like, okay, but then come to find out it was an apartment complex on the third floor. I'm like, oh gosh. And the stuff that I picked up, it was 3 cases of water, 2 cases of those family packs of small bags of chips. It was 2 boxes of those, a big thing of toilet paper, plus tons of bags of groceries. And it was just like, yeah, I am not going to drag this all the way upstairs. And I dropped off for her once before, only it was a restaurant delivery. So I was just like, yeah, no, I can't I'm not doing this. I'm not dragging all this stuff upstairs. So I tried texting ahead of time, but I didn't get a response. But as I got closer, I called and I'm just like, hey, look, I have respiratory issues. I'm having some bad flare-ups tonight. Can somebody help me with this? Because there's a lot here, and I'm concerned about taking all this stuff up 3 flights of stairs. So she worked with me, and when I got there, I took some stuff upstairs and knocked on the door, and I'm assuming it was her husband. I'm not too sure. It was the gentleman that was there. Uh, excuse me. And I know I'm familiar with the property. It's a 1 bedroom sort of situation. So, um, but anyway, yeah. I was just like, hey, but he came downstairs and basically he took care of the things of uh, water, and I pretty much took care of pretty much everything else. I was mostly concerned with those those cases of water. That was a lot. That would have been a lot, but yeah, I still earned my pay. That nice tip that she was throwing out, basically. So, and then Miss Madam Brilliant, because I wasn't thinking, but yeah, because I mean, I was really huffing it. That was the whole point of me bringing this up. Um, I was really huffing it, and I was just sweating, and I was very heavy breathing, and really sweating my butt off, especially with wearing that coat. But I didn't mind. I'm like, you know what? Let's get this out of me. Whatever it is I'm fighting, whether it's infection, allergy infection, or possibly a virus or something, it's like, no, let's get this out of me. Excuse me. So, yeah, like I said, I didn't mind it. And then at the very end, I'm getting down to the bottom of the stairs, and I think I was already downstairs if I remember correctly, and it hit me. I'm like, oh, I forgot to scan the barcode. Is what the Walmart orders. They attach these stickers to some of the items, and when you pick up the order, you had to scan barcode, and then at the very end, you had to scan the barcode again, and then you also had to take a picture. You do have an option where you can skip scanning the barcode at the end, but I still would have had to have taken a picture. So I'm like, okay, I gotta run all the way back upstairs and do all of this. And of course, I had to knock on the door and uh, get them. So it was like, oh, great. But oh well. But in a way, it was a good thing that it happened, because it did help to bring up uh, whatever it was that was trying to take up residency in my chest. I felt it in my throat, and then when I ate a little bit later, I had gotten some. I had to stop off at Walmart, pick up a few things. When I was there, I picked up a bag of Chex Mix, and I was munching on that, and that helped clear my throat and get it all up into my nose. But then my nose is all, and I was trying to blow it out and forget it. It just didn't want to come out. But eventually I got it cleared up. But I still wasn't feeling all that great, still feeling a bit achy, tired, weak, lightheaded, a little bit dizzy, and so forth. But it was like, no, I have to be working right now, not just because, I have rent due on Monday, and so forth, not just because of all that, because I want to. I'm like, push it, do it. And I just kept doing that. And then I had that Sprite, and that definitely helped. But I'll admit, I was getting pretty tired there at the end. And I wound up stopping off, excuse me, at Jack in the Box at the end. I was just like, you know what sounds really, really good? One of those chicken teriyaki bowls. And I had something that I need that to cook, but I mean, we're talking 3:30 in the morning. By the time I would have gotten home, it would have been 4 o'clock. I'm like, I am now not wanting to be cooking. I'm tired, with fighting everything all night and then working and so forth. I did take a little bit of a nap before I left, but it's like, nope. I just didn't want to do it. And usually with those chicken teriyaki bowls, I eat like about maybe half of them, and then throw the rest in the fridge. I ate the whole thing. Yeah, I was hungry. But that was all I ate, and I finished off the rest of my Sprite also. But I'm a little congested today. I know my nose is a little funky. So I opted not to do the COVID test. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what happens. I can always see about getting one today, if I want to. And I'm still in that period where, contagious stage or whatever. I figure I would give it one more day. Seems how I just came down with it yesterday. I think it's like, 3 days or something like that. Figure, if I'm still not feeling all that great, I can always see about getting a COVID test tomorrow morning or something, um, and go from there. And of course, tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow is when I turn 50 at 8:24 p.m. local time. I was actually born 11:24 p.m. Eastern time, so take back those 3 hours. So yeah, tomorrow's it. And I do plan on working. That's my birthday present for myself this year. I want to get things straightened around. I really, really do, financially. I'm getting things straightened around with my health, and it's time to focus on the finances. And that's my birthday present for myself. That's going to be my birthday present for myself for a whole year. It's like, all right, let's do this. So I did see in my email that I do have a free dessert from Applebee's. I figure I can get myself one of those, a nice steak, and then get myself. I won't eat there at the restaurant, because with it being Veterans Day, also they do those veterans free dinners for the veterans. I don't want to be stuck in that mess. I've done that before. No. But I really like the Bourbon Street steak, so I figure I know I was gonna maybe see about baking something or whatever, but I'm just like, no, I'm not feeling it up to it or anything. If push comes to shove, I can always see about buying myself a birthday cake or something. I'm just not in, I'm not in any capacity to. I just don't want to. Plain and simple. I just don't want to. That's like, screw it. But I figure, I can always buy myself a birthday cake if push comes to shove. But I'm going to get myself that free dessert from Applebee's. Yeah, that chocolate lava cake. That sounds good. And you get the side of ice cream. Oh, that sounds really good in my throat. So anyway, yeah, I do have to. I have stuff in there to make pizza. I had some stuff left over. I'm going to do that. So, in the meantime. But yeah, that's kind of everything that's going on with me. And like I said, she's doing good. She's actually laying there in the on the floor in the common area, um, and I've got the heat turned on to help keep me warm. So I do keep getting a little chilled. I'm thinking about maybe skipping doing my yoga today so I can get that food cooked and maybe get a little bit more sleep. When I did go get home, I immediately took some ibuprofen, got that going to help with the body aches and the temperatures, the fevers. I've been feeling like I've been running a little bit of a fever. Excuse me. So, but yeah, I'm getting there. You know, even if it's just I had thought about maybe getting some juice, maybe some pineapple juice. That's usually my go-to. But Sprite, I'm just wanting Sprite. It's like, but I was thinking maybe it might run over, and I need some yogurt. Definitely keep that going at least. Help with the upset stomachs. Do that and that Sprite. Pick up a bottle of Sprite, and I need to pick up one of my prescriptions I got on renewal. Also, it's been sitting there for several days, so I need to get that. But yeah, otherwise, um, doing, yeah, I'm getting there. Um, so, um, yeah. I'm working on things. I'm working on it all. Oh, I was going to mention also, I've been posting pictures of my an embroidery project that I've been working on off and on for the last couple of years. I'm determined. I'm going to get that done. I was thinking I could probably put it either up here or maybe do some decorating in the living room after. Or maybe above that wall where I do all my meal preps on that one table in there. That would actually be a really good place to put that. Turn it into a wall quilt is what I'm kind of thinking. But yeah, I've been working on it. Actually, is a kit that I picked up. When in that kit, comes with, of course, the stamped cross stitch. It's just a cross stitch for the most part. It's not really, it doesn't have a lot of the embellishments that I like to do and so forth. It's just more of a simple cross stitch, not counted cross stitch, but just a um, printed pattern. So yeah, it comes with that, and it came with the thread and um, the pattern, with the instructions and so forth. And then of course you buy your own hoop and so forth. But anyway, I'm not a big fan of those. I bought it because, well, partly because I liked it, and it falls kind of right in line with another one that I have in storage, at least with the saying that, with what uh, the, the message is on it. But anyway, reason why I bring it up is, yeah, like I said, I'm not too big a fan of those, the ones that come with the thread, because a lot of times they don't give you enough of certain colors or whatever, so you got to be a little careful with it, and you may or may not be able to get the thread on the outside. It just really depends. A lot of them use the DMC floss, but a lot of times they'll throw in other brands colors, and you may or may not be able to match up very well. So you have to be a little careful with those sorts of kits. And of course, little Miss, she wanted to play with the threads yesterday with her feeling better. I'm just like, no, we can't do that. Not with this one. But and the reason why I bring it up is because, yeah, it's the sort of work that I want to be able to do to for the Etsy store. Kind of gives you an idea or whatever, but it isn't those sorts of things that I would be doing and promoting out there or selling out there on my Etsy store. So anyway, um, yeah, and but it's kind of fun to watch the progress and everything. Um, but yeah, the sorts of things that I really want to do is either machine sewn, um, or at least with the embroidery work that I was going to be doing, it's going to be my own sorts of ideas, my own patterns, and so forth, and then have them up there for sale. Just going to take some time, and some of them will be kind of cross stitch, some of them will be embroidery. So just stay tuned for all of that. It's going to take me some time to get some stuff done, but I want to finish up with my own projects first. They've been long in the process of doing, and I want to finish up with those first before I move on to those. In the meantime, I just do the deliveries for my living and expenses and so forth. And the Etsy store will be more extra money, basically, so I can pay for other things that I want to be able to do in my life, like the yoga and so forth. So it's just taking me time. I've got to get me straightened around first before I can focus on other things. And that's my main goal right now. So it's all part of the process. And the other thing I was going to mention is I noticed that, some people, kind of back and forth with subscribing or not. The whole point of this channel is to talk about, it's basically a journal, okay, of my progress and so forth. So, I might post things about Possum, I may not. It isn't a channel that's just about her. It isn't a channel that just talks about, spirituality or this or that. It's about my journey. Okay, this is a journal about my journey. That's the whole point of the brand, the Blissful Lifestyle Changes Studio. Is about changes that I'm making in my life, and if they help to inspire other people to make changes in their lives, basically you all, then so much the better. Okay, it is going to be. I am talking about my struggles. I am talking about the positives and the negatives that happen, the challenges that happen. You can't have, you can't experience life without experiencing both. You can't, it isn't about, oh, everything being all blissful and cheerful and everything. I am not a cheerleader, okay? My life is full of challenges just like everybody else, and I'm going to be talking about those. And if it happens that it helps if I help somebody else in the process, then kudos. Cherry on top of the icing. That's the way that I look at it, okay? So don't get discouraged with, oh my gosh, she's just talking about all, well, that's the whole point to this. If you don't like it, leave. That's the way I look at it. So it's like, hey, yeah. Last but not least that I wanted to talk about today is actually a very important day for me as well. It was 49 years ago today, okay, that something very important happened in history. November 10th, 1975, was the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. The Edmund Fitzgerald was a merchant ship that came, there was actually a song, so I'm going to kind of be quoting the song also. It was written by Gordon Lightfoot. I believe it was called The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. You can hear it over on YouTube if you want to, if you don't have like a streaming service that you can look it up. Um, but it's based off of an actual event that happened, like I said, 49 years ago today, the day before my first birthday. That's the reason, one of the reasons why it's very important for me. Um, and it did happen off the coast of Michigan, where I was born. Another reason. So, and basically, it was a ship carrying 29 men, 11. Another reason. They came out of the docks in Wisconsin, uh, and was crossing over Lake Superior when basically the Witch of November, basically the storms coming in, that are that run rampant during this time of year, uh, came out and basically saved the ship, and all 29 men lost their lives on that day. So, and another reason why is it's kind of important for me is because of a story that my mom always told me when she was alive. When she was pregnant with me, she actually pretty much spent the last 6 months of the pregnancy in the hospital. She was dealing with toxemia a lot. And she told me that basically days leading up to her going into labor with me were actually beautiful, bright, sunny, and beautiful weather and so forth. And then it was like when she went into labor with me, which she actually spent 3 days in labor with me. Yeah. When she went into labor with me, the weather took a turn for the worse, drastic changes. We went from beautiful 70 degrees, bright, beautiful, sunny skies to huge drop in temperature, snow, and ice. So much so that they tried calling, when they called her doctor to have him come in to deliver me, he was snowed in his driveway. He couldn't get out. So they called a tow truck, and the tow truck wound up getting stuck in the driveway. They tried calling his partner, and the same thing happened. It wound up being a random doctor in the hospital who wound up delivering me. Uh, and then a year later, the Edmund Fitzgerald sank. So that's the reason why it's very important for me. I did notice that whenever my mom would get upset or whatever, change in weather would happen. So yeah, um, it's like okay. But anyway, so yeah, usually on this day I will go ahead. I always play the song as a remembrance. So if you all can do that, help keep their spirits alive and everything, help to remember that day. Do some research, learn about it and everything. They did find the ship underwater. I don't remember when it was that they found the wreckage, but yeah. So remember these guys, okay? And then, of course, tomorrow, with it being Veterans Day, I'll talk about that tomorrow a little bit more. It's not, in this country, we call it Veterans Day, but it's actually Remembrance Day with the rest of the world. So definitely it is a somber time, these 2 days, to remember those who have lost their lives, helping to keep us afloat and helping us with our independence and so forth, our freedoms. All right, so anywho, I hope you all have a great day. I know the SEMA show has been in full force and so forth, and of course, with it being a 3-day weekend. And I think the reason why they decided to move SEMA is because it's usually right there, right after Halloween. But it's a little bit late this year. I'm going to assume that they decided to move it to get it closer to F1 Formula, which I know it's coming up. I think it's the 21st through the 23rd or something. I think those are the dates that I saw, but don't quote me on that. So it's coming up. I know there's been a lot of advertisements, promos, and so forth going for it. Like contests. Free tickets, night stay at a hotel, this all this sort of stuff. I know it's for locals, at least the one contest that I've been hearing on the Point Radio, but but yeah, that's okay. I'm good. If I get a chance to drive on the track again this year, all for it. But I'm just not one for watching cars driving around in circles really, really fast. It's just not my thing. Unless I get to actually partake in it, then that's gonna be then that's different. But watching it, not so much. So anyway, love you guys. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.